Once in a city, there lived a wealthy man named Seth, who was known for his piety. Whenever any great sage or holy person visited his city, he would invite them to his house and serve them with utmost devotion. One day, a revered sage came to Seth's house. Seth and his wife warmly welcomed the sage and served him a delicious meal. After some time, Seth had to go to the market for some work, leaving his wife and the sage in the house. While waiting for Seth's return, the sage engaged in conversation with Serene, Seth's wife. The sage asked her the first question, "How many children do you have?" Serene replied with gratitude, "By the grace of God, we have been blessed with 4 children." The sage then asked the second question, "How much wealth do you possess?" Serene humbly responded, "By the grace of God, people consider us wealthy, as we are known as millionaires." In the meantime, Seth returned from the market. Later, Seth accompanied the sage to bid him farewell. During their conversation on the way, the sage asked Seth the same questions. The sage asked, "How many children do you have?" Seth replied with sincerity, "I have 1 son." The sage started pondering, as it seemed that Seth was not telling the truth. Serene had mentioned having 4 children, and the sage had even witnessed 3 or 4 children moving around in the house during his stay. However, Seth claimed to have only 1 son. The sage proceeded with the second question, "How much wealth do you possess?" Seth replied humbly, "I have $25,000. Once again, the sage was astonished. Serene had mentioned their wealthy status and numerous factories and businesses they owned. Yet Seth claimed to possess only $25,000. Curiosity piqued, the sage asked the third question, "How old are you?" Seth replied sincerely, "I am 40 years old." The sage was taken aback by this response, as Seth appeared to be a man in his mid-70s. How could he claim to be 40 years old? Perplexed, the sage confronted Seth, "Seth G, why are you lying?" Seth humbly folded his hands and replied, "Maharaj, lying is a sin. Especially when lying to a saint, it is an even greater sin. In response to your first question about my children, I indeed have 4 sons. However, I consider only one of them to be my obedient son. He is the one I truly acknowledge as my son. How can those who do not obey me be considered my true sons? As for your second question about my wealth, I consider my true wealth to be the resources I have invested in acts of charity. Throughout my life, I have contributed only $25,000 towards charitable causes. That is my real wealth. What use is it to claim possession of wealth that will ultimately be taken away by friends and relatives after my death? And regarding your third question about my age, 40 years ago, I met a sage much like yourself. Since then, I have sought refuge at his feet, engaging in devotional practices and serving sages. Therefore, I consider these 40 years as my true age, as they represent my spiritual journey and growth. The sage listened attentively to Seth's sincere and profound answers, understanding the depth of his wisdom and devotion. Thank you for joining us today and taking the time to delve into this insightful story. The tale of Seth and the sage teaches us valuable lessons about honesty, wealth, and the true meaning of success. In a world where material possessions and societal expectations often define our worth, it's essential to reflect on the significance of our actions and the values we hold dear. Seth's example reminds us that true wealth lies not in accumulation but in selflessness and acts of kindness. We hope this story has inspired you to consider the importance of obedience, charity, and spiritual growth in your own life. Remember, it is the quality of our relationships and the positive impact we have on others that truly define us. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more thought-provoking content. We appreciate your support and look forward to bringing you more engaging stories that resonate with your hearts and minds. Until next time, keep seeking wisdom, spreading kindness, and embracing the journey towards self-discovery. May your path be filled with blessings and fulfillment. Thank you once again, and see you in the next video.